Hi everybody, it's Tanya at Dark Moon Papery. I hope you're all well today and enjoying the spring weather. It's just a tad cold in the UK. In fact, it's very cold in the UK, considering that we had summer-like weather um, at last week, and now we've got almost Arctic conditions. But hey ho, that's the fickle British spring for you. So anyway, today I wanted to show you this journal that I've just finished. Um, I absolutely love this journal. It's turned out way better than I imagined. It's full of lots of lovely texture with lots of fabrics and antique bits and pieces. So I really hope you enjoy watching this video and manage to stick it through to the end. I'll try not to waffle on too much. Um, but anyway, let's get started, shall we? So first of all, there's this cute little envelope that actually goes with the journal. It's a packet of little goodies, little ephemera goodies for the recipient of the journal. I actually made it from a 1930s envelope, and I've stuck some scraps of lace on the front. Nice bit of antique floral lace there. So that's that. I'm not going to show you the contents because I want that to be a surprise for the recipient. But I can show you this gorgeous little cabinet card, this lady here. And this is a genuine cabinet card. It's one I've had in my collection for a long time. Probably, I don't know, about 20 years. I bought a big bundle of cabinet cards at a antiques market. Like I say, it must be 20 years ago now. So this is one from my own personal collection, and I really wanted to put her in the journal, but I kind of couldn't find the right place for her. So I've taken that as a sign that this is for the recipient to decide where this goes. And that person, I'm sure, will know where she wants to place that in the journal, or maybe use it elsewhere. But it's so lovely. I was a bit disappointed I couldn't actually find the right place in the journal, but she feels like she needs to go with this journal, so that's part of the reason why I made this little ephemera packet here. So we'll set that to one side, and then let's have a look at the journal itself. It's made with vintage fabrics, vintage crochet doily, some seed bead applique that I got many years ago from Australia. Nice vintage buttons. And this is interesting. This is a vintage applique as well. Again, something that I've had for an awful lot of years and just never found the right project for it to go on. So that's that. I love this rose fabric on the back. I'll try not to waffle on too much about the bits and pieces in this journal. But I hope you'll stick with me on this journey through this journal because I feel like I've included some really gorgeous pieces that I would have liked to have kept for myself, but they just felt right going in here. So there we've got this gorgeous vintage sari trim that I absolutely love, and that runs right across the back as well. So let's have a look inside. So there we go. Got this lovely lady here. This is an antique postcard, and it's actually of Miss Marie Studholme, who was a famous actress back at the turn of the 1900s, and you can see that's actually dated 1904. just a bit of lovely trimmings there. And then there's a small pocket here with a vintage tea card, vintage ticket. One of my butterfly stamps. I absolutely love these stamps. Stamps feature greatly in all my journals. I can't help putting them everywhere. So this is a vintage doily that I've got. It's a little bit patinaed with age, shall we say. And then moving on to this page. Oops, just flatten that back there. This is a 1920s envelope that was in a real poor state of repair. So what I did was I cut all the knobbly bits off, well, tore them off, but I wanted to keep the postmark, and it's just sort of perfect for this gold postcard, which is just peeking out. Let me show you that. I absolutely love these gold postcards. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. So yeah, I felt that made a nice home for the postcard. And that flips out there. And you can see actually there's embossing on the envelope. They just don't do that anymore, do they? And then this is actually an illustration taken from a book of the Pall Mall magazine from September to December of 1898. Now, I actually got this as a book. I'll show you the book. I'll just move the journal out of the way. So this is the actual book that I got. And you can see it says 1898 on it. Now, I'm not sure whether this was printed at the time or whether this is, like a reprint of the magazine at a later date. I'm really not sure, but it's got some really interesting illustrations in it. And it does seem to be very old, this print itself. But as I say, I can't be certain of the age of the pages within it. But it's from this magazine from 1898. So I'll just pop that to one side. So yeah, so this is one of the illustrations in there. And the magazine has lots of bits of poetry and illustrations, stories, that kind of thing. This actually flips up and you get an illustration on the other side and a bit more of that poetry. And then at the bottom here, there's a bit of antique script and another butterfly. That closes there. Nice space for journaling. Oh, and I did think, going back a page, sorry, I did think that this would be a really nice spot to put a dedication for your journal. I know a lot of people like to, when they start a new journal, like to dedicate the journal to a particular time in their lives or events or something like that. So I thought that would be a really nice spot for a dedication. But obviously, you can put whatever you want in there. So this is something new that I tried, that I've seen lots of journal makers do, and that's an envelope used as a tuck spot, as kind of like a half page. And I'm really liking this idea. This one is from France. So I've tucked in a vintage postcard of a place in Paris. So I thought that fit well there. And then over the other side, I've just done a little bit of collaging with a rose cut out from a ruby and pearl printout, possibly. I think so. And some nice script here. And then here at this, on this page, we've actually got some gorgeous ledger from 1878. Just love the handwritten script. And then on this side, got a little vintage label, lovely ruffles. Love the sari ruffles. I can't stop putting them on everything. And then a nice little Indian glass bead charm there. So over the page, if you've been following my Instagram lately, you've probably seen these black and white photograph tags that I've made. So it's simply made with a section of a group photograph, and I've combined it with vintage braille paper, vintage French receipts or letterheads, a little bit of newsprint there, and just, you know, a nice cutout of flowers from a magazine. And I just really love how these have turned out. Really love them. And there's a few of them in this journal. I've also included an old receipt there from the early 1900s. I actually have more available in my Etsy shop. And then again, the bottom of the page decorated with antique script. Nice bit of ruffle. Oops. And then over the page here, what I've done is I've kind of collaged a piece from a Vintage Reader's Digest gardening book. Love those flowers. And then this was an old French postcard, and from 1936. I thought that went well there, and it just happens to go really nice with this tag, again made with cutouts from gardening magazines and vintage script. That goes in there. And then on this side, again, I've tried something new. So this is kind of like the first time I've done sort of half pages. I normally have all my pages the same height, but I wanted to try something different because I love how it looks in other journals that I've seen. So this is actually this here. Let me show you. Hopefully you can see it in the light. It's actually embossed with a fern print, and that came from a vintage gardening book. This is gorgeous antique lace, again, that I've had for years. And then this is a little envelope. It's actually from 1926. Now there's a card inside, but I'm not sure the card's original with the envelope. 1925 actually. But yeah, I think that's a lovely little vintage item to have, and that just fits perfectly there. On the side, more of that script. There's a lot of this sort of antique script and vintage scripts throughout the journal. I just love the lettering, and I thought it went well with the theme of the journal. The sun's actually streaming through the windows, so I kind of can't see what I'm doing. I hope this is coming through on the camera okay. I hope the camera isn't being blinded like I am. So yeah, so this page I've got my favourite gold. Love these powders, love how they react with the hand-dyed papers. All the papers throughout are hand dyed. Nice bit of trimming there, nice bit of lustre. And then here's another one of those tags that you've probably seen if you've been following me on Instagram. Love that red, and it works. It just looks so lush with these flowers and the vintage ephemera and these little children here. I'd love to know what this photo was about. You know, are these people their nannies or family, or is it like a school nursery type photo? Who knows? We'll never know. But there you go, that's that tag. Sorry, I'm probably waffling a bit, aren't I? And then this page here, this was actually a little insurance receipt book, and I took the pages out, and I thought this would make a nice insert for pockets. So what I've done is I've added a vintage photo of these little girls from Norway, decorated it up with some more vintage and antique lace scraps. And we've got a flower card there, pops in there. And on this side I've kind of left it blank. I figure you can maybe add things to that page. And then on this page here, this is actually from a Dutch children's book. I love the language. I love how it looks, you know, when it's written down. And then here I've just used texture paste to add some nice flowers to the page. Then on this side, with yet another of these tags. I hope you like tags with lots of people in, because here they are. And then this was an interesting bit of ephemera that I got. I can't remember who I got it from, so sorry. I'm really not sure where I got this. It might come back to me, and if it does, I shall link it in the comments. But I thought those ladies looked superb, so they fit in there, and it's actually blank on the back, so that's space for writing in if you want to. We'll slot that in there. More writing space here. I wanted there to be lots of things in the journal, but I also wanted you to have space to add your own things, and hopefully the journal's not too stuffed with bits and pieces that you can't fit more in. But you know, you can always take these out and add them to other journals, or you know, whatever you like. So yeah, so more journal space and another little Indian glass bead. Oh, keep knocking the camera. Do apologise. Is that? Let me just adjust that. Sorry about that, folks. So on this page, again, if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll have seen this antique postcard. I had a play with some antique postcards that I had, initially inspired by a lace photograph frame that I saw, and then when I was starting to create these postcards, I also came across a fabulous tutorial by Donna Morgan Creations on YouTube, and she does lots of altered cabinet cards. So this is kind of my take on that. I'm just really pleased with how these have turned out. Blank on the back so that you can add your own words and things, or collaging, whatever you want to do. And then this This is from a Victorian, I think Victorian French women's fashion magazine. And on the other side, got this gorgeous illustration of this lady here. And I think at the bottom, it's basically saying that this is kind of like the clothing that they would wear late for ladies of a certain age. So I thought that was quite interesting. Love that illustration. And then on this side here, hopefully that sun's not shining in too brightly. It's very fickle is our weather. 1 minute it's cloudy and the camera doesn't like it when it's too cloudy, and now the sun's blaring in through the window. Hopefully the video is going to turn out all right. So yeah, some lace scraps here, more vintage script. And then this is a book plate from an antique book that I got. It's 1920, something like that. And I just love this illustration. So it felt like this just had to be in this journal, along with all the other vintage ladies and people in there. Nice bit of antique trim there. Gorgeous French letterhead from 1915. Don't you just love the script? They just don't make letterheads like that anymore, do they? It's just gorgeous. Little bit of vintage sari trim there. And then this is the centrepiece, and I really do rather like this rose. I've had this rose on my computer for ages, and I can't remember where I got it. But I had it long before I actually started journaling, so maybe somebody out there knows where it's from. I think I picked it up from a link on Pinterest, but that's really all I can tell you about it. But I just love that. I did plan, actually, because there's a few different flower designs in this particular style that I saved onto my computer, and my original intention was to actually frame them. But as I say, other than I got them from Pinterest, I can't really tell you where they came from. I just can't remember now. So yeah, that's that centrepiece there. More of that letterhead. And then another peoply tag. Lots of little people there. And this is a little bit of wallpaper printable from Ruby and Pearl. The colours just go so well together. Now this is actually a piece of tatted lace, and my auntie actually made this. Now I don't know when exactly she made it. I know my mum had this for a long time, and it had got a little bit damaged, so I dyed it just with a bit of ink, and I really like how it's turned out. I just cut it apart, and I think it makes a wonderful trim for this page. More scripty bits, and then more of those ladies from the French magazine. And I think this is, I think it's saying, so I think this says here, I think it's talking about the kind of dress that young ladies would wear for spring. Love that illustration there. More embroidery patterns on the back. And then I absolutely love this page. This is kind of like layered laces. So this is some antique lace there, bit of sari trim, a bit of the net from the sari, and then this lovely lace and net piece here. And it looks really vintage, but actually it's not. It's actually from a lace kimono that I bought on eBay. But it looks, it looks kind of vintage, and it fits well in this journal. I've left this piece the original colour, but I have dyed some with just a weak solution of tea to give it a bit more age. But I wanted the lighter cream in this instance to contrast with the lace underneath, which you can see that's lace that I've also dyed. That's more vintage lace there, or antique lace, I can't remember which. But yeah, I just think that page has worked out beautifully. Love that. So over the page, more scripty bits, more of that vintage Dutch children's book. More texture paste. I love how those sprays of flowers look on the vintage book page. And then here, this is the other side of that policy book cover. Again, that I've decorated with scraps of lace, an antique photograph. And then this is actually a tuck spot here. And it's quite deep, so you could put quite a deep tag or piece of ephemera in there. More of that vintage braille paper here. Some nice lustre from the trim. And then on the other side, more ladies from Norway, more lace. I really loved this booklet. I really loved creating this. And this is also a tuck spot too. And then this is one of my favourite pieces of ephemera in here. This is actually a birthday card from the 1930s. And it actually came out of that vintage envelope there. And I love this little card. It's got blank bits so that you could journal on it if you wanted to. Nice little inscription there. But I thought it was too nice to be hidden away in the envelope, so it just felt like this was a good spot for it here. Now the sun is moving around and it's creeping around on the desk, and I'm thinking, oh lordy. Sorry, I'm just having to plug my camera back in because I've just noticed the charge is running down a bit. There, I think that's right. So, moving on. We seem to be having all kinds of problems today with cameras and sun. It's not usually this difficult to film a flip through. So, moving swiftly on. Here we have a gorgeous antique postcard of Miss Lily Elsie. If you've never heard of Lily Elsie, she was an actress back in the early 1900s, I think. I've forgotten the date now. But this is another of the antique postcards that I altered. And I really love how this one's turned out. I love the little bit of vintage velvet ribbon there. And look at her little shoes there. That's the background of that page. Oh, it's really not good with the sun moving round like this. I can't see what I'm doing, and I don't think the camera can. Anyway, we're going to press on just move out of the sun a bit. We're going to press on and hope that this video turns out okay. So this is the other side of that green embossed paper with the fern on it, which you can hopefully see. And I really like this. I love little connections. So this is actually a bit that I tore from a French check. And it's a manufacturer of shoes. And I just love that she's looking at her shoes here. So yeah, it's probably just me being silly. But hey, I love this little connection. And on the other side, another people tag, ruby and pearl, wallpaper printable, braille paper, a nice little scripty bit. And there's actually a blank space on the other side of the photograph, so you could add a little something there if you wanted to. And this is more of that antique lace. Put that back in there. More nice ruffly bits. A bit of antique ledger there. More scripty bits and stamps. Love the colour of that stamp. And then this is a net doily. I've not seen many sort of net doilies like this. But this is a lovely one with its pink embroidery on there. And I've just wrapped it around the page. Nice sort of spot to maybe tuck something behind it if you liked. More of that antique ledger there. And yes, you guessed it, another people tag. This is the other half of that envelope that I decorated. Really love how that looks. I'm definitely going to use envelopes as pockets again. I really like that idea. And so yeah, these sweet little guys here. And this double tag. It just sits perfectly there. I love that. More gorgeous ruffles. And then we're on to the last page. And here we have one of the vintage playing cards. I've actually got these in my Etsy shop. And then this is a postcard of a Welsh lady. I just love that. She looks so sweet. Really nice. Bit of vintage and antique lace trim. Scripty bits. And then this is from a vintage fresh, get my teeth in, a vintage French share certificate. Try saying that when you know you're running out of video time. And then the other side of that gorgeous doily and the back page. And I'm really pleased to introduce my new Dark Moon papery logo. And this is the first time I've actually put it in a journal. And it makes me quite proud to see that there. Quite proud indeed. And I love my new logo. Really pleased with that. So, more of that vintage wallpaper. Another little stamp. And I actually put the fabric down. I forgot to mention this at first. I actually put this fabric down the middle of the journal because I really like, you know when journal makers make journals from old books and they sew the signatures to a strip of fabric and then the fabric gets glued into the book, and I really like that look. So that's kind of what I was aiming for with this fabric here, and I just think it looks really nice together with the vintage wallpaper. So that's it. that's it. So pleased with how this has turned out. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this. Do let me know in the comments what you think. And if you can give me a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to my channel, that would be absolutely grand. Hope you have a lovely day, whatever it is you're doing, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.